Nerd alert! Learning is important, right?
Yes, exactly. What a bunch of nerds.
Nerd alert!
Right.
Marketing Architects.
Hello, and welcome to the Marketing Architects, a research-first podcast dedicated to answering your toughest marketing questions. I'm Elena Jasper. I run the marketing team here at Marketing Architects, and I'm joined by my co-host, Rob DeMars, the Chief Product Architect of Misfits and Machines.
Hello, Elena.
Hello. We are back with your weekly Nerd Alert. Every week, I'll take a deep dive into academic marketing research and translate its complex ideas into simple, understandable language for Rob, and of course, for all of you. Are you ready to nerd out, Rob?
My nerd level is at 93%, Elena. The other 7% is buffering.
All right, I think that's good enough to get into it.
All right, let's go. Let's do this.
As always, we'll link the research we cover in the episode notes. This week, I read a study titled Keep It Simple, Consumer Perceptions of Brand Simplicity and Risk, published in the Journal of Marketing Research in 2024. The authors are Nicholas Light from the University of Oregon and Philip M. Firmbach from the University of Colorado Boulder. But before we get too far, Rob, I wanted to ask you, when you hear the word simplicity in marketing, what do you think of? Do you think of Apple, the one-click checkout? What comes to mind?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even ways of reducing friction in the buying process when you talk about the one-click checkout, or like how Whole Foods is now doing hand scanning in some locations to check out. Like, yeah, absolutely. How do we make it easier for customers?
Do you think maybe we've overhyped simplicity a little bit?
I don't know. I think that depends upon what you're talking about.
How about
I think
simplicity in
sometime-
marketing specifically?
No, I mean, I get it's a marketing podcast.
Well, we were
Yes.
talking about consumer experience a little bit.
Yeah, no,
which
you're,
I guess
you're
you
right.
could say
you're
is
right.
part of marketing, but
Absolutely. You know, I think marketers sometimes confuse simplicity with vagueness. So we have to be careful. You see a lot of ad campaigns, you're like, I have no idea what they were talking about. And people are like, well, we're going for simplicity. The consumer wants a simple message. And it's like, yeah, they want simple, but they don't want completely vague ideas. So yeah, I think we take it too far.
I would agree with you. This study surprised me a little bit. But let's zoom out for a second and talk about just simplicity in marketing in general. I think simplicity is sort of trendy. You know, it's praised. You say things like make the experience seamless. Your design should be clean. Your message should be short. That's something that I personally get behind in our marketing. Simplicity, it's often framed as not just helpful, but heroic. This study, however, asks a tougher question. What if simplicity sets brands up for failure? Not just because, simple's bad, but because it makes people expect different things. The research examines how perceived brand simplicity affects the way consumers judge risk and disappointment. Here's what the researchers did. They ran 6 experiments and analyzed a massive consumer satisfaction data set from Consumer Reports with nearly 150,000 responses. And their main question was, when people think a brand is simple, do they assume it's less likely to mess up? And the answer is yes. When a brand looks simple, clean ads, focused messaging, minimalistic design, people assume it's less risky. They think this brand probably won't fail me. But here's the kicker. If something does go wrong with that brand, people react more negatively than if the same failure happened with a more complex brand. Consumers see simplicity as a sign of reliability. They build an unconscious narrative. If it's simple, it must be well designed. If it's well designed, it must work better. So when a failure happens, it violates this expectation. The disappointment hits harder, and the researchers confirmed this in real-world data. In the Consumer Reports dataset, consumers were less likely to recommend simple brands after a failure than more complex ones after a failure. So Rob, have you ever personally felt upset because you ordered a product or service and expected it to be simple, but it ended up being a huge pain?
Oh, yeah. I'm still sore about this one. What brand wouldn't be more simple than YouTube, right? YouTube has done a great job in branding themselves as this place you go to and watch videos. So when they launch a TV platform, you would think YouTube TV is going to be amazingly simple to use. Dear God, it has the worst interface I've ever experienced. Their UI is so confusing. Every time I sit down, I'm like, where's the guide? I just need to figure out where the TV guide is on this thing. And it's like trying to use its same recommendation engine and whatnot. I mean, I could spend a whole episode on this, Elena. I recommend it to my neighbors, saying the same thing. I'm like, hey, just caveat, the guide is a little confusing, but it's a good deal. They actually couldn't continue the subscription. They thought it was so hard to use. So there you go. Wow. YouTube TV, sorry. It's just terrible product. So yes, I'm emotional. I'm actually upset. I'm upset about it. Can I
Yeah.
not say that? Can
No,
I
it's
not say
fine.
this about YouTube
No, it's
TV?
fine. I think you're talking about the product experience. So
I'm
you're,
talking about the product experience. I'm sorry.
yeah,
YouTube TV is a terrible
it's
product
not good.
experience.
And you think it's
No.
worse because YouTube you think of as like simple, easy to use, intuitive.
It's a product of Google. I mean, Google is, known for the simple search bar and goodness happens, and just not the case.
hmm
Sorry. I'm talking about YouTube TV
Yes.
here.
Yes. Another reason why this might make you upset is the study found that brand simplicity is equal to mental simplicity. So when you view YouTube as simple, you mentally picture it as having fewer moving parts. Some people even picture fewer departments, fewer products, fewer chances it could break. So the risk perception is low. But when researchers told participants, hey, this brand has more parts, but they exist for redundancy as backups, people were more forgiving. So it's not just about simplicity or complexity, it's about how you frame it. Simplicity isn't inherently bad, but it raises expectations. And when those expectations aren't met, consumers feel more disappointed than they would with a brand that looked more complex or nuanced to begin with. So marketers, we need to think carefully. Does our clean aesthetic set a promise we might not be able to keep? And are we giving the impression that nothing can go wrong? Maybe you want to make it a little bit more complex. For our Rob GPT, a simple brand is like a white couch in a living room. It looks amazing, clean, modern, effortless. But the moment it gets a stain, people freak out. A darker couch you might not even notice. That's what the research shows. When a brand looks flawless, people assume it's flawless. But the second it fails, the disappointment feels personal. That white couch betrayed you.
That's a good analogy. Ooh, I like that one. Boy, I tell you what, I don't know why I'm so mad at YouTube TV, because I'm not going to cancel my subscription. I'm going to keep it. I love the flexibility of the platform and everything else. But have you tried YouTube TV, Elena?
I have not. I'm a Hulu person.
It's just hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I was thinking about switching, but then the prices became basically equal.
The good news is, in YouTube TV's case, is they can fix the problem. Their product is easily enough a UI issue. They can streamline over time. But when your product is widgets and screws and everything else, you have a bigger problem to solve.
And they're dealing with the YouTube brand awareness, which sets
Yep.
up a different expectation for them. Yeah. That's it for this episode of The Marketing Architects. We'd like to thank Taylor De Los Reyes for producing the show. You can connect with us on LinkedIn, and if you like the podcast, please leave us a review. Now go forth and build great marketing.
Marketing architects.